Hello friends, welcome to part 3 of Introduction to Projects. If you missed the first and second parts of this video, you can still watch it on my YouTube channel, Project Success Switch. And please don't forget to comment in the comment section so that I can get your feedback and get back to you in my subsequent videos. In today's video, I'll be talking about Project Lifecycle, the stages and the phases that every project must go through to guarantee success and reduce chances of failure on your project. Whether it's a construction project, whether it's a wedding project, whether it's your life project, whether it's a book you are writing, you need to go through these stages as long as it has a start date and an end date. And before I talk about the life cycles of projects, right, let me talk about the reasons why most projects fail. I'll just give you a few reasons why most projects fail. Now, it is important to know that any viable project is prone to failure. It's prone to failure due to several reasons. I'll highlight some very major reasons why most projects fail. Now, the first reason why most projects fail is due to resource deficiency. Resource deficiency. And when I say resource deficiency, I actually mean insufficient resources to complete the project. And sometimes, I'm not saying you must have all the money, but most of us were too optimistic and then we underestimate. So once you underestimate and the resources deployed into a project is not sufficient, you run into trouble. Number 2, inadequate time frame. Don't forget that I said a project is any endeavor that has a start date and an end date, and so it has a time frame. Now, when you are having problem completing a project on time, the likelihood that you have inadequately estimated your time is there. So it's a major reason why projects fail. Number 3 major reasons why projects fail is unclear goals and objectives. Most people embark on projects that lack detailed documentation and it leads to inappropriate results, right? So if you cannot define the scope well and define the goals and objectives well, you are already setting the project up for failure. Then number 4, poorly managed stakeholders' expectations. Yes, who is a stakeholder? A stakeholder is anybody that can be affected by your project or that can affect your project. Once the person has an interest in your project or your project can have an impact in the person's life, the person becomes a stakeholder. It means that your project, you must carry the stakeholders along. Project scope changes that are not agreed upon by stakeholders will make them have varying views. So various opinions about the time, the budget, this sort of thing, this is what I think about the quality. So, poorly managed stakeholders' expectation is a major cause of project failure. Then inadequate risk management. People don't manage risks. People don't even consider risks. When risks are actually uncertainties, the unknowns of a project. You should try to just okay, what are the uncertainties I'm likely to, come across when I'm embarking on the project. Now, failing to establish the risk associated with each project can cause the project to fail. Now, the 5 reasons I've given reduces your chances of success on a project. The question now is, how can you now increase your chances of success? How can you increase your chances of success and reduce your chances of failure? Now, to avoid or reduce failure to the barest minimum on any project, we must understand and be in control of the 5 major project life cycles or phases that I am going to be talking about today. Every project must go through these 5 phases from start to finish. Now, what is a project life cycle? Now, the project life cycle is simply the steps required to successfully manage a project from beginning to the end. The steps required to successfully manage a project from start to finish is what is referred to as a project lifecycle. And there are 5 phases of a project lifecycle. 5 major phases. Now, these 5 phases or project lifecycles can also be referred to as process groups. Process groups. Now, personally, I call them the know, plan, do, check, and accept. Know what you want to do, plan what you want to do what you want to do, check what you want to do, accept the result of what you want to do. Now, number 1, know what you want to do. It is also called the initiating phase of a project. What is the initiating phase of a project? Now, the initiating phase of a project marks the beginning of a project. Now, what do you do at the initiating phase? Summarily, you determine the high-level expectations of the project. High-level expectations of the project. Number 2, you establish the business case. The business case here means justification for the project. This is where you do your cost-benefit analysis. Why must we carry out this project? What is our strategic objective? What is the project objective? What is needed to complete the project? You determine it here. Number 3, you have a rough estimate of time and resources. So you need to ask yourself, okay, what time do I have at my disposal, or what kind can I afford for this project? You need to also ask yourself, what are the resources I'm going to deploy to this project? Then at this initiating stage, you need to quickly draft a list of your stakeholders. Stakeholders are who are the beneficiaries of this project, and who do I need to execute this project. All of them together form the stakeholders of your project. Now, number 2 is what I call the plan. When you know, you plan. So this is also called the planning stage. The planning stage. Now, the planning stage is where the roadmap and the blueprint to follow is developed for every stakeholder to know. Everyone on your project needs to know at this point. What do you do at the planning stage? Number 1, you establish the scope of the project. In my subsequent video, I'm going to be talking a lot about project scope. Number 2, you refine the objective. Remember, at the initiating phase, I say at the high level, summarily, you define the objective of your project. So at the planning stage, now you refine, you define your time frame, you break down into measurable chunks, and then you allocate time to each of them, sum the time together, and it gives you the time frame. At this point, you also get your budget in place. In another video, I also talk about budget, how to estimate your cost, rough estimate, parametric estimates, bottom-up estimate. I'm going to be talking about all that. At this point, you also establish the quality, so that everybody will know what the acceptable standard and the acceptable quality is. Now, at the planning stage, you also gather your human resource, you gather your communication style, you make lists of your risks, and then you define, very important, you define the course of actions that are required to attain the objective that the project is set out to achieve. The major goal of the planning process is to help you establish all your baselines. What is a baseline? A baseline is the boundaries of the project. What are the project boundaries? Cost baseline, schedule baseline, quality baseline, scope baseline, the tools you will use, the techniques you are going to use in executing. You define all of that at this stage. Number 3 is what I call do. Do is execution. The execution stage is actually the implementation stage. A lot of times we have fantastic plans, but we don't follow through to get them implemented. So you have a lot of plans chilling in the cupboard. Now, this is a very critical stage. It's critical to the success of the project. People and organizations have fantastic plans, but have poor implementation. So execution, the doing part of the project life cycle needs to be taken. So what do you do at this stage? At this stage, the project team is built and deliverables are created. A deliverable needs to be created because you need to measure yourself at every point. What am I achieving? So you set out your deliverables, you establish your milestones at the execution stage. At this stage, the project team are coordinated and guided in such a way that they get the job done. This phase also covers proper allocation and management of project resources. This is where all the things you plan to do, you begin to allocate your resources and your money properly here. Number 4 is what I call the check. What is the check? The check is what we call the monitoring and controlling stage. In this stage, what you do is to reference your baselines. You measure against your baseline, you take feedback, and you give feedback. Get ready for crisis here, because a lot of people just want to jump the gun and just keep running without keeping track of what the plan is. The strategic objective, they keep it aside. The project objective, they keep it aside, and they just want to do their things. So at this monitoring and controlling stage, you need to check their work. Now at this stage also, you prevent milestone disruptions. You monitor your deadlines at this stage. Now number 5 is the accept, which is the closing stage of the project. The closing stage is required to finalize all activities across all other phases to formally bring the project to a close. You review your project deliverables and ensure that they have met the project objective. At this stage, you can either begin to celebrate your success or you reflect on the reason why you didn't quite achieve your project objectives. As the project objective is achieved here, you close the project. There are times your project objective may not be achieved and you may need to close your project. Let me quickly tell you, when does a project manager need to close a project? Number 1, you close a project when the project objectives have been achieved. Number 2, you close a project when the project objective cannot be achieved anymore. Number 3, you close a project when the need for the project no longer exists. Number 4, you close a project when the client's need has changed and the client wishes to terminate the project. I need your feedback on this video, please. Just drop your comments and your question in the comment section for me. It's going to help me prepare content for my next video. Thank you so very much for watching today. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, comment on this video, like it, share it with your friends. I want to get a lot more people on board so that together we can begin to learn principles for predicting project success and repeating project success. Thank you so much for